Hello everyone, good day. Today we discuss about how to convert Windows service to web jobs. So let's do a start. So first we discuss about the theoretical approach. How we can do convert that. After that we can discuss about with the one live example. I will do create the one project and try to do deploy over the web jobs. So let's first do a start. So in this topic we can discuss about what kind of things will required to learn. If we are converting the Windows service to web jobs. So first what we need to do, understand your Windows service. Whatever your current running applications, it's hosted on the IIS as a Windows service. So first you must have the understanding of your current running Windows service. Setup and the Azure Web App. Thereafter you must have the uh, one setup will required for your Azure Web App. So prepare your applications for web jobs. So what we need to do for preparing the applications to publish as a web job. So you need to create a one console applications and then the configurations will required for the new created console applications. Thereafter, you can deploy those console applications as a web job. So what we need to do, so first we publish your console applications, create a web jobs and configure the web jobs. So these points will required and we can discuss step by step how we can do that. Then how you can do validate and test your web jobs, handle the configuration and the secrets. Any handle configuration handling will require, any secrets will require to do add in your web jobs, adjust for scaling and performance. So how we can do publish, see the performance if any improvement comparison to Windows service. So those we can discuss here. Adjust for the scaling. Is it any scalability will get easier when we have deployed over the web app and the summary. So these things we can discuss in this slide. So first we start with understand your Windows service. So if you are trying to do convert your current running Windows service to Azure WebJobs, so you must have the understanding of your current running Windows service, right? So converting Windows service to Azure WebJobs involves the several steps. It's not like a lift and shift. So you must have the understanding. Even the deep understanding about your current running Windows service. So I have written some points. What kind of understanding you will require to learn for your current running Windows service. So web jobs are a feature of Azure App Service. What is web job? So we can say that it's a feature of Azure Web Service that allows you to run a script or the program as a background task. So web jobs is running in the same way what the Windows service will do for the IIS. So because Windows service is not supportable over the Azure, so there is no any way to host your Windows service on the platform as a service on the Azure portal. So for this, you must be, you need to do convert your Windows service to web jobs because Windows service is not supportable anyhow. So I'm explaining these things because why there is a one questions why we are converting the Windows service as web jobs. So because Windows service is not supporting the Azure App Service. So web jobs are feature of Azure App Service that allow you to run the script or programs as a background task within an app service. So here are the some guidelines well required to do understand. So first, what you need to do before you beginning, understand the following aspects. First, business logic. What functionality does this provide? So business logic, it means what your current running Windows service is doing. Is it anything it's related to your some logic? So what kind of logics behind this Windows service? So those things you need to do first understand, because at the timing of converting your Windows service to web jobs, so those logic you need to do write down in your console applications. So you must have the understanding about your current running legacy applications Windows service business logic, how it's running. Next one is the dependencies. Any external libraries or internal dependency is lying between your Windows service. So those details you need to do identify if you are want to, if you want to convert your Windows service to web jobs. Next part is configurations. How is it configured? Any special settings and the parameters it has been done for your Windows service. So those things you need to do first identify. Next part is startup and the shutdown behavior. So in the startup and the shutdown behavior, we are checking like, is it's a continuous Windows service, or it's on the some condition based, like the any condition based triggering is configured for your Windows service. It's not like a continuous running all the time. So those things you need to do, identify, and the behavior how your Windows service is running in your current environment. Okay, so these points, if you have the understanding, then you are easily able to do convert your Windows service to web jobs. So understand your Windows service, and these few points you must have the knowledge about that. Second is, if you have, you have got the all the understanding about your current running environment. Now we can do start for your web app. For web jobs that we are converting from Windows service to web jobs. So for the web jobs, you must have the one Azure App Service, right? If you want to create a one web jobs, so for the web job creations, you have the one Azure App Service. If you don't have, what you need to do in the Azure portal, create a new web app. If you don't already have one, if you have the already any one of the Azure App Service, then you don't need to create for the new web app. And configure app settings, set any necessary environment variable or the application setting that your web jobs might require. So configuration settings and the new Azure App Service creation. So those things will require if you want to create the web jobs. So this is the setup part if you want to create the web jobs. Later on, what we need to do, prepare our applications for web jobs. After these things creations, we need to prepare our current running applications to new web console applications, right? So first, what we need to do for preparing our applications as a web job, so first we need to do create a one console applications. So web jobs is typically run as a console applications. Why we are creating the console applications? Because web jobs is also reacting as the console application. So if your Windows service logic is in a different type of applications, let's suppose the Windows service logic, it's written in the some other way that you are not able to do bifurcate. So those things you need to do first, understand and try to do refactor to convert as a console applications, right? Once you convert as a console applications, it will get easier to deploy as a web jobs. So second part is create a new project. Obviously we are converting the Windows service to web job, so we need to create a one console applications. So we can do create as a one .NET console application project in Visual Studio. Your preferred ID, the Visual Studio is the preferred ID for the .NET developer, and the anyone, if they, anyone that they are developing in .NET, so they must have using the Visual Studio. So you need to create a one console applications and migrate those logics that you have already understand for your current running legacy application Windows service. So those relevant business logic you need to do right inside the console applications. Ensure that any dependency and the configurations are properly handled. Whatever the dependency and the configurations it has been written for Windows service, you need to do write down for the console applications. So those things you need to do first, complete and configure those configure the console application. So entry point, ensure you have the main method that is start the application's execution. So inside the main method, you need to do write down for your start and the stop service, how your restart, the this console applications will get the start and when it will get the stops, and the dependency include all the necessary libraries and the resources in your project, whatever the added for your Windows service. So those dependencies has been already included for the console applications. So these points will do help to prepare your applications as a console application. Prepare your applications, Windows service application as a console applications. Once it will converted your Windows service to console applications, then we are able to deploy your created console application as a web job. So for the deployment, what we need to do, publish your console application. There is a two-way. First way is publish locally, as it is usual that we are doing for the any other application. So publish locally, use Visual Studio or the .NET CLI to publish your console application to any local folder, this will create the necessary file. Whatever the file will get executed in the DLL form or the .exe form. So those things will create it inside the folder that you have given the local path. So once your application is get published, create a web jobs. Then you need to go on the portal.azure.com, and what you need to do, create a one web job. So you can deploy the web jobs using the Azure portal or via the continuous integration tools, right? So you can directly do deploy over the Azure portal by going to the Azure portal and go to the web job sections and add a new web jobs and upload the file from the published folder, whatever the files it has been created inside the published folder. So you can do directly upload. So there is a one way. Another way is the continuous integration tool using the Kudu console. So you can also do directly upload over the some given path inside the www root app underscore data slash jobs slash continuous directory. You can manually do upload those published file through the Kudu console. Configure the web job. So trigger type. I mean, how your web jobs will get react. Is it's a continuous or it's triggered in triggered web jobs? So these things will based on your current running Windows service. Is it your Windows service was running as a continuous, I mean all the time, or some condition based? So if or the some event based, so those things you need to do identify from your Windows service. If you have already those knowledge, I mean how your Windows service was running in the legacy applications, you can do configure in the same way. So you have the two options in web jobs. One is the continuous and another one is the triggered web jobs. So continuous web jobs run all the time, right? It will, there is no any condition, there is no any events will required, it will run all the times. While triggered web jobs run on demand based on triggers. So when you are creating the triggered web jobs, so it must be have some condition based, when it will get run, when it will get stopped. So those things will require to do configured for the triggered web jobs, and these details you need to do fill out over the portal.azure.com in the web job section. Logging and monitoring. So use Azure Application Insight or logging framework to monitor and debug your web job. So for the logging and monitoring purpose, we have the one features available on the Azure Application Insight and the logging frameworks to monitor and debug your web jobs. Inside the there is the one logging framework will required when your web jobs is getting run and from where it's getting break. So those things and those errors will get stored in the logging frameworks. You can easily to identify. So this is the deployment for after creating your console applications and then deployed as a web jobs. So first what you need to do, first you need to do understand your Windows service. After the understanding the Windows service business logic, you need to do convert your Windows service to console applications. After the conversion of console applications, you need to deploy as a web jobs. Next, once you have deployed your application as a web job, so you need to test and validate. So first you need to do the local testing. Obviously, if you have deploying the any application, so before the deployment, you must have tested in the local environment. So test your console application locally to ensure it works as expected. Whatever you have done and whatever the logic you have written inside the code, so it's running as expected. And web job testing, once you have deployed, test the web jobs to ensure it behaves correctly within the Azure environment. I mean, how it's behaving. Is it any bulk logic or the bulk logs will getting created, or it's running, or it's just, I mean, how it's getting reacted. So those things you need to do identify through the logs framework or through the application inside. So you have the features available, you can do easily identify. So those things you need to do validate and test. Handle the configuration and secret. If your Windows service containing the some configurations or the secret key, so those things you need to do convert for the web jobs through the Azure key vaults. So if any configurations is written inside your web earlier Windows service, so those configurations you need to do right as a Azure key vault. So use Azure App Service setting or Azure key vault to manage your configurations and the secrets, whatever the secrets and the details and the key vaults, configurations will required. So you can do handle by using the Azure key vault. App settings. So set environment variable in the Azure portal under your web app configuration setting. Any kind of settings will required that was running as a Windows service earlier. So those settings you can do manage by using the app settings in the current, I mean the environment variable on the Azure portal under your web app configuration settings. So if nothing is configured related to the app settings or your secret key. So this step you can do skip, there is no need. But if it's already configured for your Windows service, so those configurations you can do handle on the for the web jobs by using this Azure Key Vault and the environment variables. Adjust for the scaling and performance. So let's suppose, I mean, we have converted the Windows service to WebJob. So what kind of scaling and the performance it will do help. So scaling, configure scaling settings in Azure App Service if your web jobs require more resources or need to handle the high loads. I mean, let's suppose web jobs have the more loads and the high loads. So what you need to do, configure the scaling settings. We have the one scaling settings in the Azure App Service. You can do configure for the more resource handlings and performance monitoring. So use Azure monitoring tools to track the performance and ensure the web jobs is running smoothly. So you can use the Kudu console logs, you can use the Azure application insights, you can use the logs framework, you can use the diagnostic logs. So multiple performance monitoring tools is available on the Azure portal, and you can do configure and you can do check your Azure converted Azure web jobs is running as expected or not. Okay, so this is the summary what we have done in this theoretical approach. So first you need to understand the Windows Service functionality and the dependencies. After the understanding of your Windows service, current running Windows service functionality and dependency, set up an Azure web applications, right? Prepare a console applications with the Windows service logic. Prepare a console applications. You need to first create a one console applications, and then whatever the logic written for your Windows service, you need to map inside your console applications. And after the conversion of, I mean, the successful conversion of console applications, you need to deploy your console application as a web job to Azure, right? Once your application is deployed, you need to do test and validate. Is it's working as expected or not? If we have deployed as a web jobs, handle the configuration and secrets if it any configuration and secret has been mentioned in your Windows service. So those configurations and the secret you can do over the Azure portal by using the environment variables and by using the Azure keywords. Adjust scaling and the performance settings. So there is the multiple performance settings and the scaling is available. You need to do configure out for the scaling purposes and for the performance settings. So this process will help you to transit from a Windows service to a web jobs in Azure. So, for the example, how to convert Windows service to web jobs. Uh, First, we need to create a new project. Click on the console application, and I'm not giving the any name because by default the console app 3 is okay. I'm just showing, I mean, how you can do publish as a web jobs. Create it. So after creating this application, console applications, click on the click on this right click in the Solution Explorer. So you will get the one options for the publish. Click on that. Then click on the Azure. Go to next, and you will get the one option for the Azure Web Jobs. So this is the options you can directly do publish over the Azure portal by using the Visual Studio. And another options is you can do publish locally. As usual, you are publishing through the folder, and then those folder publish file you can deploy directly over the Azure portal by using the web job sections. Otherwise, you can also do publish through the uh, Kudu console, right? By giving the some, it has been already shows in the slide, like where you need to do upload those files. So path is www root. Inside the www root, there is the app underscore data folder is available. Then after that, you need to go inside the jobs and the continuous underscore summary. So then inside those parts, whatever I have shown in the slide, you can do upload directly this publish application files. So that's it. Best of luck. You can try to do publish from your local system. And if you have any questions, you can give in the comment side. Thank you.